welcome to my channel. Welcome back, of course, to the desk corner. This is an art-related channel where we do art-related things on the desk, in the desk corner. And today I'm joined by some friends, as you can see behind me, because we've entered the holiday season officially. So back in October, I actually created a video where I showed you guys my Halloween and spooky and autumn-related drawings from the past. So I thought it would be fun to do the same exact thing now that we've entered December, and I'll show you guys all of my Christmas / holiday / winter related drawings that I've done. And I do have quite a lot of them actually, so I think that this video could be fun. Hopefully I'll find enough to pull out and show you guys for some of those old ones. I'm not sure exactly where they are, but I'm going to look for them because I want this video to be interesting. Okay, you guys, I'm really excited because I pulled out all these Christmas drawings and winter drawings for the past like 6 years, so these date back to 2014. And some of them are really like embarrassing, so I'm excited to show you guys these. But I do want to start off with a couple of weird ones to just get them out of the way first. So I remembered that I did this illustration a couple years ago in this black little like Sketchers notebook, and this is Krampus from the movie Krampus, I think. Maybe it was a reference photo from the movie. I had seen the movie and I got inspired, and I did this with my Faber-Castell what are they called? Pit pens, so just ink and then the brush pens in gray in the background for the moon. So that's what I did here. It was just a pen drawing. I don't know why I was inspired to do this because it's pretty dark and creepy, but for those of you who are here for the spooky vibes, let's get this out of the way first so that way we can do all the joyful stuff afterwards. So that's that. I do like how this one turned out. It's just a little sketch in my smaller, like I guess, little notebook. And sometimes I use these little notebooks for things like this. So that was just something to get out of the way first. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to something that's really funny. So this obviously is Will Ferrell from the movie Elf. And in 2017 I decided to use my watercolor pencils, and I don't remember what brand I was using at this point, probably Prismacolor. Now for some reason I didn't notice how creepy I was making him look in the face, because I was so focused on all the other little details. I think the rest of it came out pretty good. But what is this look? I mean, he was making the look in the reference photo, but I made it worse, I think. I remember someone on Instagram said, like, you managed to make Will Ferrell creepier than he even actually looks. And I laughed so hard when I found this today, looking back at it, because I'm just looking at it, I don't understand why I did this. But yeah, I did this in watercolor pencil, Prismacolor, which is not really a brand I recommend for watercolor pencils, just FYI. Okay, I do want to quickly move on from this one. I don't have much else to say about this one. I have this sketchbook from a very long time ago that I filled up pretty much almost completely, so I marked the pages where there were Christmas drawings. And this is from 2014. It is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, obviously, and it's done in probably Crayola colored pencils because I didn't have Prismacolors in 2014, so I was using whatever I had, which was probably Crayola. But I thought that this was still cute despite me using this school quality pencils. So there's not much else to say about this one, so let's move on to the next one, which is an elf that I did also in 2014, and also most likely with Crayola pencils. Again, not much to say about this. It was not even my original idea. It was probably from a reference photo of some sort, like a clip art or something. But I just wanted to get into the holiday spirit, apparently. So there is my little friendly elf. He looks a little bit wacky and cross-eyed, but that's okay. And then there's another page that I marked, which actually this goes with something I just recently did. So this is a cup of coffee from 2015, apparently. It looks like I did have the Prismacolors at this point. Yeah, I think I did. I'm including this because I did a cup of hot cocoa recently that I consider kind of seasonal. So let me pull that out. It's under here so that you guys can see. Okay, here's a comparison again. Obviously this is very lopsided and I don't know what was going on with this cup of coffee over here, but here's my cup of hot cocoa that I recently did for comparison purposes. But yeah, this is 2020. I don't know why I haven't signed this yet, so I need to sign this. And this is 2015. Oh, and this is done in marker. So I have the Blick Studio Art markers, which are kind of like a Copic Stoop, and I used those to create this, and then I used some pencils to do some of the detail work here. And then this was entirely in pencil and there was no marker. I didn't have markers at this point. Okay, this next one is again back in 2014, and I actually used ballpoint pens to do this. So red and black ballpoint pens. It's really fun, actually. Try it out if you haven't tried it out. It's actually really fun to draw with these. I would just recommend a paper that's thicker than the one I had used, of course, because this paper was ultra thin and couldn't handle this too much. It was very crinkled in the back. But anyways, so I did this in 2014, and then last year I did kind of like a redraw of it with marker, and then I made it into a Christmas card for friends and family, and that was really fun. So I did want to show these two together for comparison and just for fun, because last year I had a lot of fun making these Christmas cards. While we're on the note of last year, I did this red lips drawing, and I made it into a colored pencil tutorial that you can watch if you would like to. I'll link it up above. Many of you probably haven't seen it before because, again, this is a year old and hardly anyone was watching my videos at that point. I think that I haven't done a lip study in a long time either, so this one is the most recent one from a year ago. I just thought it was kind of Christmas related since the lips are red. And again, this one was done with colored pencils, most likely the Polychromos, but I'm not completely sure. Yeah, it kind of does look like Polychromos though. I would have of course mentioned this in the tutorial, I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now. And now for my favorite part of the video here. So the Grinch is my favorite Christmas character, so I've done quite a few Grinch drawings that I'm excited to share with you guys. We're jumping back to 2014 for this one. Again, I do not know what type of colored pencil I used to color this, but it must have been Crazy Art or like Crayola or something, because I didn't have any artist grade pencil. The Grinch is a little bit off in his color, so I can tell I didn't have too big of a set to work with. So this was my first Grinch drawing back in 2014. The drawing itself was decent, it was the coloring that was kind of a problem. Now let me show you my favorite Grinch drawing I've ever done, and that was this Grinch from the live action movie. And I did this in 2018. Is it 2018? Yes, it was 2018. And this was mixed media. So there was watercolor in the background, colored pencil on top. It looks like I even used ink up here for his Santa hat and for this area as well. So this was very mixed media. Probably used a gel pen or paint to do all of these stars in the background. But this is still one of my favorites. It's a little bit messy now that I look at it. It's not it's a little bit messy with all of the ink and everything that I mixed together for this, but this was extremely fun for me to do. I love watching this movie. If you guys like this movie too, let me know in the comments below. And I kind of am inspired to eventually not draw this exact picture again, but do another drawing from the movie. But yes, this is probably my favorite Christmas drawing that I've ever done, probably out of all of them. Okay, so that's that. So let me put my Grinch drawings in order here. And then again, in 2018, see, this is what's confusing me. Actually, I feel like I did this other one at the tail end of 2017 and then finished it in January, and that's why I assigned it 2018. Because I definitely didn't do these two in the same year. So that's probably what happened, is this is from Christmas 2017 and I just didn't finish it in time. And then this one I did in December 2018 for sure. This was the new Grinch, which I actually didn't watch that movie because I just didn't think that it was very interesting, but I really thought that the Grinch character himself was super cute, so I drew him with my Polychromos colored pencils. This was not mixed media, it was just Polychromos. Okay, so last but certainly not least, we have the Grinch that I did last year, and at this point I was getting a little tired of all the Grinch drawings. I just wanted to do a quick illustration type thing last year with the Grinch in it to keep up my Grinch trend thing. So I ended up doing this with my friend's Copics. I borrowed my friend's Copics, I don't have my own, and of course fine liner, because I did fine line this, probably with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pens. And as you can see, it's a scene of the Grinch taking down all of the Christmas decor and the star from the top of the tree, which is really cute. I don't know if I'm going to do another Grinch drawing this year. I have Grinch fatigue at this point, so we're going to see. And that concludes my Grinch drawing, so let's move on. The next drawing is another character, actually from Frozen, Olaf. My favorite character from Frozen. I'm not a huge Frozen fan or a huge even like Disney fan, but I do like Olaf. I think that he's adorable. So I did this also in 2018. It was actually part of a series. It was the Grinch, the small Grinch that I showed you from the new movie, and Olaf, and there's one more under here. And for this, I actually did not do mixed media. The background is entirely in colored pencil, and I just really worked on that background and blended as much as I could. And that was really tiring for my poor Prismacolors, I believe it was. So yeah, that's what I did for this one. Okay, so another one that I did in that series, I showed for Halloween, but you know, Nightmare Before Christmas, so I thought I would show for Christmas as well and add a couple of spooky things. And this is, of course, Jack Skellington. This was not done entirely with colored pencil. I used my ink, my pens, my Faber-Castell artist pens, and then probably a gel pen to do the white detailing on his outfit here. But the face, neck, and hand was definitely done with colored pencils. I'm not entirely sure I remember how I did the eyes, though. Probably also with colored pencils, I'm just not entirely sure. Oh no, we're getting down to the end here, guys. I don't have nearly as many of these as I have spooky drawings, unfortunately, but I had a good enough collection. And this was 2018 because it was part of the series. In fact, let me just show you them all together. So it was these two, the Grinch, see, they're all on half sheets of paper. I think I was just doing my favorite Christmas characters. Of course, Jack Skellington had to appear in this, so that's what I did. So these three are all from December of 2018. And then finally, I mean, this one is kind of tied for favorite with the other live action Grinch that I did. Let me just remove this because it was done in pastel, actually. So this is from the movie Gremlins. I think that they're called Mogwais when they're not gremlins. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember. But I saw this movie last year. 2019 is when I did this. I saw the movie last year and was inspired to do this drawing with my pastel pencils, which I absolutely love pastel pencils, and I want to pull them out more often because I've kind of abandoned them a lot this year in 2020. But I do love pastel pencils. The paper is pastel matte. The pencils are probably the Faber-Castell Pitt Pastels or Stabilo Carbothello because I have both sets and I might have used a mixture. They go really well together, so I probably used them both in this. If you haven't seen the movie though, basically this Mogwai is given to someone as a pet, and they're these cute little creatures, but then there are some things that you can do that cause them to actually turn into these horrible gremlin things, which I don't have a picture. I'll probably insert a picture. I chose to draw this Mogwai as a Mogwai and not a gremlin because the gremlins are just awfully hideous, and I didn't want to draw that even as someone who likes to draw horror art. Maybe one day I'll do it, but for Christmas I thought I would do the cute version of a Mogwai. And that's it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these Christmas related drawings that date back to 2014. It was fun for me to reminisce on some of them and look at some of them from a long time ago and just see the improvement over the years. I hope you also enjoyed the Grinch collection. I don't know if I'm going to add to the Grinch collection this year, but let me know in the comments if you think that I should do something small at least. I've been very into animals lately, so I might do some winter animal related stuff this year since I mostly have done characters in the past. But if you want me to continue the Grinch series, let me know. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!